The Citroen DS was one of the first production vehicles to feature inboard disc brakes. That's these fellas here. So here we have, there's the disc on the output side of the gearbox, and then the pads are up here. So this is the gearbox, that's the output from the gearbox. It's also the final drive as well. So power comes in a longitudinal fashion and goes out transversely to the front wheels because it's front wheel drive. Then you've got your disc brakes attached directly to the output shafts of the gearbox. So there we are, inboard discs. Now the advantage with that is that there's less unsprung weight. That's the weight of the car that's traversing along the road that's not actually suspended using the springs or the suspension. So the wheels and the hubs are always unsprung because they're just rolling along the road. Now the more of that weight that you have there, the less controllable the car is. So by pushing all that weight in and making it part of the sprung weight, i.e. like the gearbox and the engine, which is all attached above the springs, then that gives you less unsprung weight, which means more control. Now I've not taken one of these apart, but I reckon that it's pretty easy, pretty simple, especially once the gearbox is out. So we've got a retaining clip here. These come apart pretty simply. There's a retaining clip here. It's always really easy when it's off the car. I bet this is a nightmare when they're actually on. Look at these. Now that is some sort of fancy disc pad. Now I guess that all of this ribbing here is for heat dissipation, to allow air to flow over these, because with the discs being inboard, they're not out in the airflow. Then the inner pad, likewise. Right, okay. Now it's a bit tricky getting that off, so I reckon I may have just enough grace here to be able to separate the outer piston and the inner piston, which is here, attached in here. So if I can just do that, this disc may come off, and then I can go and send Timmy boy to go and get some more. You know, I'm really enjoying working on this DS. They're great cars. I don't know why people get so scared of them. Okay, a few bits of hydraulic nonsense on there, but really, they're a real treat. Keeps you out of mischief. Keeps me out of mischief. No, it still won't come. I'm going to have to undo this all the way, I think. I'm just trying to work this out as I go. You could say I'm making it up as I go along, which I kind of am. Last little bit. There's the disc. Now that looks pretty fancy. I bet they're not cheap. So if Tim can get a new one, that's great, but actually we'd have a chance at just resurfacing that. I'll get the caliper free and then I'll give the lot to Tim and see what he can get done with it. Because let's face it, this car has been sitting around for 35 years probably. So I think everything could do with a bit of a freshen up. I certainly could if I'd been sitting around for 35 years. There we are. There's the caliper, quite lightweight. And there's the output from the gearbox. Nice little bit of engineering.